Have you ever wondered if that 1979 US quarter sitting in your change jar might be worth more than 25 cents? Well, you might be surprised to learn that some 1979 Washington quarters are worth far more than face value, especially those with rare minting errors, special conditions, or high collector grades. While most 1979 quarters are still common, a few can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on their rarity and condition. So before you spend that old coin, let's dive deep into the story of the 1979 quarter, its history, features, and what makes some of them incredibly valuable. The 1979 quarter is part of the Washington Quarter series, which began in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The design, created by sculptor John Flanagan, features Washington's portrait on the obverse or front side with the word Liberty above his head, In God We Trust on the left, and the date 1979 at the bottom. On the reverse, you'll find a majestic bald eagle with spread wings, clutching arrows and olive branches, symbolizing both strength and peace, along with the words United States of America, e pluribus unum, and quarter dollar. It's one of the most classic and enduring designs in American coinage. By 1979, quarters were no longer made of silver. The last circulating silver quarters were produced in 1964. After that, the U.S. Mint switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition, a core of pure copper sandwiched between two layers of nickel. That means a typical 1979 quarter contains no silver and is worth face value if it's heavily circulated. However, there are some exceptions that can make a 1979 quarter worth much more. The first thing to look for is the mint mark. In 1979, the U.S. Mint produced quarters at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. You can find the mint mark just to the right of Washington's hair ribbon on the obverse side. If your quarter has no mint mark, it was made in Philadelphia. AD indicates Denver, and an S stands for San Francisco. The Philadelphia and Denver coins were struck for circulation, while the San Francisco coins were mostly proofs made for collectors. Let's talk about the circulation strikes first. The 1979P and 1979D quarters. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 515 million quarters that year, while Denver produced around 489 million. That's over 1 billion coins combined, making them very common in circulation. However, condition makes all the difference. A heavily used coin will only be worth 25 cents, but a pristine, uncirculated coin with a sharp strike, bright luster, and no marks can be worth much more. For example, a 1979P quarter, graded MS67 by PCGS, has sold for over $1,000 because very few coins from that year survive in such flawless condition. Similarly, a 1979D quarter graded MS67 or higher can bring $500 or more at auction. These high-grade coins are valuable because of their rarity in that condition. The mint's quality control in the late 1970s wasn't as precise as today's standards, and many coins came out with weak strikes or surface marks. Finding one that's perfectly preserved after decades is quite rare, and that's what collectors pay top dollar for. Now, the San Francisco Mint produced 2 types of proof quarters in 1979, the standard clad proof and the special silver clad proof, though the silver version was not part of general circulation. Most proof coins from that year are copper-nickel clad and have a mirror-like finish. These were sold directly to collectors in proof sets. A 1979 S-proof quarter in perfect PR70 deep cameo condition can sell for around $50 to $100, depending on demand. But there's something very interesting about the 1979 S mint mark that can make your coin even more valuable. In 1979, the San Francisco Mint used two different styles of the S mint mark, Type 1 and a Type 2 3 variety. The Type 1S looks filled or blurry, while the Type 2S has a clear, sharp, and well-defined shape. The Type 2 version was introduced later in the year and is much scarcer. If you have a 1979 S proof quarter with the clear S mint mark, it's the Type 2 variety, and it's worth significantly more. A perfect PR70 Type 2 proof can sell for $150 or more, sometimes even higher depending on the market. But where things get really exciting is when we start talking about minting errors. Errors are like the hidden gems of coin collecting. These are coins that came out of the mint with mistakes, misalignments, double strikes, missing layers, or other production flaws that make them unique and desirable. One of the most valuable types of error for the 1979 quarter is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank isn't properly aligned in the press, so part of the design is missing. A small off-center strike, around 10%, might fetch $50 to $100, but a dramatic one, like 50% off-center, with the full date visible, could be worth several $100s. Another sought-after error is a double die. This occurs when the coin die strikes the design twice, slightly out of alignment, creating a noticeable doubling effect. On a 1979 quarter, this could appear on the word liberty in God We Trust, or the numbers in the date. Strong examples can be worth hundreds or even thousands depending on the clarity and condition. Always inspect your coins carefully under magnification. You never know what you might find. Then there are wrong plancher errors where the quarter design is struck on a blank meant for a different denomination like a nickel or dime, because these coins have a different metal composition and weight. They're easy to spot once you know what to look for. For instance, a 1979 quarter struck on a dime plancher would be smaller and might have parts of the design cut off. Such a coin could be worth several $1,000s to the right collector. A missing clad layer error is another valuable one. Quarters are made from a copper core with nickel coating on both sides. Sometimes one of those nickel layers doesn't get bonded properly, exposing the copper underneath. A 1979 quarter missing one clad layer might appear reddish on one side, and such coins can sell for $200 to $500 depending on condition. Broad strikes, where the coin expands beyond its normal edge because it was struck without the restraining collar, can also be valuable. These coins look slightly larger and have no rim. A 1979 broad strike quarter can easily bring $100 or more. Clipped plancher errors, where part of the coin's edge is cut off before striking, are another collector favorite, typically selling from $50 to $150. Even die cracks, cuds, and lamination errors can add value. A die crack is a raised line caused by a break in the die, and a cud is a chunk of metal that appears where part of the die has broken away. These flaws are usually worth smaller premiums, but if they're large and dramatic, they can still fetch $50 or more. Collectors also value coins that have unusual toning or color patterns, especially when the hues are naturally developed and visually appealing. A beautifully rainbow-toned 1979 quarter with original luster can sell for far more than a dull, ordinary one. Now, while the 1979 quarter might not have a famous, well-documented error variety like some other years, new discoveries are made all the time. Coin enthusiasts regularly examine their change and find previously unknown varieties. It's entirely possible that a unique 1979 quarter with an undiscovered doubling, misalignment, or metal anomaly could appear in the future, and when it does, it could easily sell for thousands. Let's talk briefly about condition again, because this is often where people miss out on hidden value. Grading plays a huge role in determining a coin's worth. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. A heavily worn coin might grade around 10 or 15, while an uncirculated coin can grade 60 or higher. Mint state, 65, 66, or 67 coins are considered gem quality, and anything above that is rare and highly sought after. If you find a 1979 quarter that looks brand new, with no scratches, full luster, and sharp details, it might be worth sending to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Even a small bump in grade can mean the difference between a 5-on coin and a $500 coin. There's also a historical charm to the 1979 quarter. It represents a period in American minting history when the nation was transitioning into a more modern era of coin production. It was the same year the Susan B. Anthony dollar was introduced, the first U.S. coin to feature a real woman rather than a symbolic figure like Liberty. So the 1979 quarter connects to a time of innovation and change in American numismatics. If you have a 1979 quarter, the first step is to examine it closely. Check the mint mark. Look at the surface under a magnifying glass or good lighting. Do you see doubling, odd color, missing letters, or strange shapes? Is the rim unusually thick or thin? Does the coin seem lighter or heavier than normal? Weigh it if you can. A regular 1979 quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. Anything significantly different might indicate a wrong plancher or error. If your coin looks pristine, store it carefully. Don't clean it. Cleaning can actually reduce the value. Put it in a soft holder or coin flip to protect it from scratches. And if you think you found something unusual, get a professional opinion. You can check recent auction results from PCGS, NGC, or heritage auctions to compare prices and learn what similar coins have sold for. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises. Every year, new discoveries turn ordinary coins into treasures. The 1979 quarter is no exception. It may look common, but among those millions of coins struck decades ago, a few extraordinary ones stand out: flawless, rare, or uniquely flawed by minting errors. Those are the coins collectors dream of finding. So the next time you come across a 1979 quarter, don't dismiss it as spare change. Have you ever taken a close look at a 2004 Michigan State quarter? Most people see it as just another coin worth only 25 cents, but the truth is that some 2004 Michigan quarters have turned out to be rare treasures worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Whether you're a coin collector, a history lover, or just someone curious about the change in your pocket, the Michigan State quarter has a fascinating story to tell. So before you spend that coin, let's explore everything about it: the design, the history, and what makes certain Michigan quarters so valuable. The Michigan quarter was released in 2004 as part of the U.S. Mint's famous 50-state quarters program. This program, which ran from 1999 to 2008, celebrated each of the 50 states with a unique reverse design. Michigan's coin was the 26th release in the series and commemorates its admission into the Union on January 26, 1837. On the obverse side, as with all state quarters, you'll find the familiar portrait of George Washington, first introduced in 1932 and designed by John Flanagan. The words United States of America, Liberty, "In God We Trust," and $quarter surround the portrait, along with the mint mark to the right of Washington's ponytail. Now flip the coin over and you'll see what makes the Michigan quarter truly special. The reverse design, created by Donna Weaver, features a detailed outline of the state of Michigan surrounded by the Great Lakes: Superior, Michigan, Huron, Erie, and Ontario. Below the design are the inscriptions "Great Lakes State" and "1837." This design captures Michigan's unique geography as the only state that touches 4 of the 5 Great Lakes, emphasizing its proud nickname as the Great Lakes State. The 2004 Michigan quarters were minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, marked with a P, Denver, marked with a D, and San Francisco, marked with an S. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 233 million coins, Denver produced about 225 million, and San Francisco struck around 3 million proof coins for collectors. With more than 458 million business strike coins in total, it might seem like these are all common, but as collectors know, not all quarters are created equal. Let's start with the Philadelphia and Denver coins. The majority of these circulated quarters are worth face value, 25 cents, if they've been used in everyday transactions. But when they're found in pristine, uncirculated condition, the value can rise sharply. Coins that have been carefully preserved, showing no signs of wear, and with brilliant luster are graded by services like PCGS or NGC as mint state, MS. A 2004P or 2004D Michigan quarter graded MS66 can sell for around $15 to $30, while those in near-perfect MS67 condition have sold for $150 to $300. A very few examples graded MS68, virtually flawless coins, have reached prices of over $500 to $1,000 at auction. These ultra-high-grade coins are incredibly rare because most quarters, even if uncirculated, tend to have small marks or surface imperfections from the minting and handling process. The San Francisco proof coins are another story. These were specially made for collectors, not for circulation, and come in 2 varieties: clad proof, made from copper nickel, and silver proof, containing 90% silver. The proof coins have a mirror-like finish and frosted details that make them look stunning. A regular 2004 S-clad proof in perfect PR70 deep cameo condition is typically worth $25 to $50, while a 2004 S silver proof in the same grade can sell for $50 to $100. The silver proof is especially valuable because of its metal content. Each one contains about 0.18 ounces of pure silver. Now let's talk about where the real excitement begins: minting errors and varieties. Error coins are what every collector dreams of finding because they're truly one of a kind. A Michigan quarter with a major minting error can easily turn an ordinary coin into something worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. One of the most dramatic types of errors is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin blank is misaligned in the press, causing part of the design to be missing. A 2004 Michigan quarter that's 10% off-center might sell for $50 to $100, but if it's 40% or more off-center and still shows the date, it could fetch several $100s. Another valuable error is the double die. This happens when the coin die is struck twice slightly out of alignment, creating a doubling effect on the lettering or design. On the Michigan quarter, doubling may appear on the state outline, the Great Lakes, or the words Great Lakes State. Clear, dramatic doubling can make a coin worth anywhere from $200 to $1,000, depending on condition and visibility. There are also wrong planche errors where the quarter design is struck on a blank intended for another coin, such as a dime or foreign coin. Because the planche size and metal composition are different, the resulting coin looks smaller or thinner than normal. A 2004 Michigan quarter struck on a dime planche, for instance, could be worth